Hi everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you the bamboo top from the Fu series. It consists of the right chest piece, left chest piece, back piece, sleeves, connections, edging, and decorations. The left and right sides I mention are based on the actual wearing position. First, crochet the front and back pieces, and the sleeves separately. Once completed, connect the corresponding areas. Then, crochet the edging along each corresponding area. Finally, make and attach the decorations. The top comes in 3 sizes, large, medium, and small. The making method is the same, only the stitch count and row count in some areas are slightly different. Let's start with the back piece. It's divided into the body, the chest piece, and the collar and shoulder areas. It's crocheted from bottom to top. First, crochet the body. Start with a foundation chain. Then, crochet back and forth along the foundation chain, working upwards. At certain points, you'll need to extend outward. The stitches used include chains, single crochets, half double crochets, and double crochets. Now, let me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. To make it easier to watch, I'll demonstrate using cotton yarn here. The color is random. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the product detail page and charts. First, start with a foundation chain. Hang the yarn properly on your left hand. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Make a knot with the yarn. This slip knot doesn't count as one stitch. Slightly tighten it. Then crochet the corresponding number of chains. My sample has fewer stitches. Please refer to the chart for details. Check the stitch count after completing. This V-shaped braid represents 1 stitch. Note that the loop on the hook is not included. At this point, the foundation chain is completed. Begin the first row. Make 1 chain. This is the turning chain for single crochet. It doesn't count as 1 stitch. Then pick up the second chain from the right going to the left. Pick up the braid of the corresponding chain, the top strand. Insert the hook and make 1 single crochet. 1 chain space. Skip 1 chain adjacent. Pick up the braid of the next stitch, the top strand. Work 1 single crochet. For the following chains, always pick up the top strand of the corresponding braid to insert the hook. I won't explain in detail later. Work down with a 3 chain space. Skip 2 stitches going left from underneath. Pick up 1 stitch and crochet 1 double crochet. One chain. Crochet another double crochet in the same position. Then crochet a 3 chain space. Here, I will treat the 2 single crochets and the chain between them as group 1. The 3 chains on the left and right, and the space between them, will be treated as group 2. After that, I will alternate crocheting these 2 groups. I will demonstrate the pattern repeat once again. Starting from the bottom, crochet group 1 first. First, skip 2 stitches to the left. Work 1 single crochet correspondingly. 1 chain. Skip 1 adjacent stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Complete group 1. Then crochet group 2. First, chain 3. Then skip 2 stitches to the left. Work 1 double crochet in the next stitch. One chain. 1 double crochet. Then chain 3. Complete group 2. Continue crocheting the 2 groups. Leave 2 stitches unworked between the groups. Crochet accordingly. Finish this group 1. Continue with 3 chains downward. Skip 2 stitches. Work 1 double crochet. 1 chain. There's 1 chain remaining adjacent. Insert the hook into the last chain and work 1 double crochet. At this point, the first row is complete. Take the side with neat stitch texture as the right side of the entire piece. Also, the starting yarn tail is at the bottom left corner of the piece. Crochet the second row downward. First, make 1 chain. This is also the turning chain for single crochet. It doesn't count as 1 stitch. Turn the work over. Pick up the stitch of the edge double crochet. Work 1 single crochet. Here, when crocheting on the wrong side of the previous row, the stitch is located at the top left. Insert into the stitch. And crochet. After completing, chain 3. Then insert into the chain space of the adjacent stitch on the left side. And work 1 single crochet. Then chain 3 in between. Next, pick up the chain space of the 3 chains on the left side. Work 1 double crochet. Move down and find group 1. Pick up the chain space between single crochets. Work 1 double crochet. After completing, move left to the top of group 2. Here, first pick up the chain space of 3 chains. Work 1 double crochet. Then chain 3. Then pick up the chain space between double crochets. Work 1 single crochet. Chain 3. Continue to work 1 single crochet in the same space. Chain 3. Then pick up the chain space of 3 chains on the left side. Work 1 double crochet. At this point, group 2 on top is completed. Move backward and find group 1. Work 1 double crochet in the chain space between single crochets. Encounter group 2. Work a double crochet in the chain space of 3 chains. Work 2 single crochets in the chain space between double crochets. Between the double crochets and single crochets, there is a space of 3 chains. Between single crochets is also a space of 3 chains. Continue crocheting following this method. You can also refer to the chart for details. Finish the top of the last group 2. Move down to the starting position of group 1. Pick up the space between single crochets and work 1 double crochet. Continue picking the stitch of the edge single crochet on the adjacent. Work 1 double crochet. Row 2 is done. Now check if your piece is laying flat. If it's slightly curling, you can stretch the piece gently. If it's still curling, you can restart and crochet. When working the foundation chain, make the chains a bit looser. Next, crochet row 3. The stitch pattern is the same as row 1, but the way of inserting the hook is slightly different. Make 1 turning chain to start. Turn the work. Work into the corresponding stitch for group 1. Pick up the stitch of the edge double crochet. Work 1 single crochet. 1 chain. Skip 1 stitch to the left. Pick up the stitch of the adjacent double crochet and work 1 single crochet. Complete group 1. Move on to group 2. Work 3 chains. Then pick up the chain space between the single crochets on the left side. Work 1 double crochet. 1 chain. 1 double crochet. After completing, work 3 chains. Complete group 2. You can see the position of group 1 here, corresponding to the previous group 1 position. Group 2 position matches the previous group 2. When you come across a position with 3 double crochets, work group 1 correspondingly. Insert the hook into the first and third stitch positions to work single crochets. 1 chain in between. When you come across 3 chain spaces, work into the centered space, which is the space between the single crochets. Correspondingly work group 2. This row's pattern corresponds to the pattern of the first row. Continue crocheting with this method afterward. Finish the last group 1. Continue with 3 chains. Then insert the hook into the space between the left side single crochets. Work 1 double crochet, 1 chain. Pick up the adjacent edge single crochet position. Work 1 double crochet. Row 3 is completed. Continue to crochet row 4. The method and stitches are exactly the same as row 2. Make 1 turning chain to start. Turn the work. Then pick up the edge double crochet position and work 1 single crochet. 3 chains. Pick up the adjacent chain space and work 1 single crochet. 3 chains. Then pick up the left side space and work 1 double crochet. Next, the group 1 position. Pick up the chain space and work 1 double crochet. Group 2 position. Pick up the left and right spaces and work 1 double crochet. Work 2 single crochets into the centered space, between double and single crochets and between single crochets. Always work 3 chains. Continue crocheting this way moving forward. Finish the top of the last group 1. Continue picking up the edge single crochet position, and work 1 double crochet. Row 4 is complete. Continue crocheting following the stitch pattern of rows 3 to 4 in sequence. Keep crocheting all the way down to the end of row 15. This row needs to be extended at the end. During the process, check the dimensions at certain row positions. If the dimensions differ significantly, adjust your tension or change the hook size and crochet again. Next, I'll use this sample to demonstrate the method for ending row 15. After finishing 1 double crochet on the edge here, continue with 4 chains. That concludes the explanation for row 15. Now continue to row 16. Start with 2 chains. Then turn the work over. Pick up the 4th chain space from the right to the left at this point. The back side of the chain is facing you now. Count from the front side. Locate the corresponding chain. Then pick up its back loop. The top thread at this point. Work a half double crochet into that stitch. Continue by picking up the top thread of the adjacent chain. Correspondingly make a half double crochet. Then crochet 3 chains. Skip the next chain space on the left side. Pick up the chain below. Insert the hook into the corresponding group position from the previous row. Please refer to the chart for details. Work the last stitch. That concludes the explanation for row 16. Continue referring to the chart for the following steps. Crochet until the end of row 17 with 1 stitch remaining. My sample has reached the corresponding position. For the last stitch, pick up the top of the turning chain from the previous row. The adjacent braid is the stitch of the half double crochet, skip it without crocheting. At the chain space on the left side, pick up both threads of the corresponding chain. These 2 crossed threads. Insert the hook and make 1 single crochet. That concludes the explanation for row 17. For the remaining rows on the body, simply continue crocheting following the stitch pattern. When you need to insert the hook into the turning chain of the previous row later on, always go into the top chain of the turning chain, pick up both threads of the corresponding chain and insert the hook. If you really can't find the exact position, you may also insert the hook into the space between the turning chain and the adjacent stitch. Be mindful not to add or miss any stitches. If the yarn runs out and you need to join new yarn during this time, you can tie a knot to join the new yarn. Here I'll demonstrate using a sample. Pick up the yarn. On the wrong side of the piece, bring the 2 yarn tails together. Close to the piece and tie a knot. Leave the yarn tails on the wrong side for now. This is the method of joining yarn with a knot. Moving forward, refer to the chart and complete the remaining areas. Once done, there's no need to cut the yarn. Next, we'll proceed to crochet the chest area. At this point, the body section is explained. Next, we'll explain the chest area. In the beginning rows here, we'll skip stitches and decrease to create the curve of the arm space. After that, the remaining rows will be worked evenly. For the small size, 1 new stitch technique is used here. SC2 tog. For the medium and large sizes, 1 new stitch technique is used. DC2 tog. The medium size also uses a slip stitch. Each size uses 1 new method, carrying yarn. Let me explain each one below. The new stitch techniques and methods used for each size. Please watch my demonstration. First, work the first row of the chest piece. This row has variations in stitch count and technique at the beginning and end for each size. You can simply follow the chart to crochet. After completing that, work the second row. Begin by carrying the yarn. Skip the section in between and leave it unworked. Here I'll demonstrate the method using the small size as an example. First, enlarge the loop on the hook. Then pull the skein or piece through from the inside. Gently tighten it. Then turn the work. Move left to find the position indicated by the yarn carrying arrow. Which is the position corresponding to the starting chain of this row? Insert into the corresponding chain space. If the indicated position is a stitch, simply insert into the corresponding stitch as instructed. Then draw the yarn through. Adjust the yarn tail of the carried yarn. Make it level with the piece. This completes the yarn carrying. Then continue working the corresponding stitches according to the chart. Here for both small and large sizes, after completing the last double crochet, the second row is done. For the medium size, you need to work 1 slip stitch to secure at the end. Here I'll use this sample to demonstrate the method. Work the last 3 chains. Continue referring to the chart. Pick up the corresponding stitch and work a slip stitch. This completes the second row for the medium size. For the third row of small and large sizes, make 1 turning chain to start. After turning the work, Skip the first stitch at the edge. Start from the first stitch on the left side, and crochet accordingly to the chart. For the third row of the medium size, you need to carry the yarn. Hook the yarn out at the corresponding position, then crochet according to the chart. Everyone continue crocheting this row based on the chart for your size. After completing it, crochet the fourth row. For the small size, work SC2 tog on this row. For the medium and large sizes, work DC2 tog. Pay attention to these stitch techniques. They may be used in other parts for different sizes. It is recommended that everyone learn how to crochet these stitches. When we encounter these stitches in other parts later, I will not repeat the demonstration. Here I will first demonstrate the SC2 tog. That is, explaining the fourth row for the small size first. First, carry the yarn across. Then refer to the chart and pull the yarn through the corresponding position. Adjust the carried yarn. Make one chain. Then pick up the same chain space, and the chain space on the left side. Crochet the SC2 tog. First insert into the position of the carried yarn. Yarn over and pull through. There are 2 loops on your hook. This is an unclosed single crochet. Continue picking the adjacent chain space, and make an unclosed single crochet. Insert, yarn over and pull through. At this point, there are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the SC2 tog. Then work 3 chains. Make 1 single crochet in the same chain space. Continue crocheting according to the chart. Keep crocheting until right before the SC2 tog position. Now we've reached the corresponding position. Let me demonstrate the SC2 tog again. Make it in the space between the double crochets, and in the 3 chain space on the left side. Create 2 unclosed single crochets. 1, 2. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the SC2 tog. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. At this point, row 4 for the small size is complete. Next, I'll explain row 4 for the medium and large sizes. The DC2 tog at the end. Here, I'll demonstrate using the medium size as an example. First, continue from the previous yarn tail. Follow the chart and crochet until right before the decrease position for the DC2 tog. My sample is now at the corresponding position. Pick up the adjacent chain space and the top of the turning chain below. Work the DC2 tog. First, hook into the chain space to make an unclosed double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. 2 loops remain on the hook. This is an unclosed double crochet. Next, pick up the top of the turning chain to the left. That is, the 3rd chain position from the bottom up. Pick this chain. The 2 threads at the edge. Work an unclosed double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. There are 3 loops on the hook now. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the DC2 tog. Here, the second unclosed stitch of the large size decrease is inserting the hook into the corresponding stitch. Please pay attention and don't work in the wrong position. At this point, the ending of row 4 for medium and large sizes is explained. For the remaining rows, there are no new stitches or techniques across all 3 sizes. Just follow the chart accordingly. Also note that the centered stitch position changes on the last row. Don't work the wrong stitch. Same as before, don't cut the yarn after finishing. Next, move on to crochet the shoulder neck sections. The chest section ID done. Now, I'll demonstrate the shoulder neck sections. Here need to crochet the right and left sides separately. First, using the previous yarn to crochet one side, then join the yarn to crochet the other side. The same technique applies for other sizes, just with slightly different stitches. I'll demonstrate using the small size. For other sizes, learn the method first. Refer to the chart for crocheting. Please watch the demonstration. Continue with the previous yarn. Chain 1. Turn the work. Work down following the chart. Finish with the last slip stitch. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. At this point, the first row is completed. Move on to crochet the second row. First, carry the yarn across. Then refer to the chart for crocheting. Finish the last stitch. The second row is now completed. Continue to crochet the third row. Start with a chain 1. Turn the work. Then refer to the chart for crocheting. Finish the last stitch. The third row is completed. Next, you'll need to break the yarn. First, secure with a chain. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Pull tight. Weave the tail into the wrong side of the piece. You can weave in a few more stitches for extra security. Simply weave the remaining yarn tails into the piece using the same method. Please finish this part on your own. That's one shoulder and neckline done. Next, take the crocheted shoulder and neckline. With the right side facing you, start from the first row. Look to the left and find the joining position according to the chart. Pick up the yarn, make a slip knot. Here, I'm inserting the hook into the stitch. For other sizes, simply pick up the chain space by inserting the hook into the space. Then draw the loop through. Adjust slightly. Next, follow the chart for the following steps. Complete the crocheting on this side of the shoulder and neckline. Once done, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Please complete this part on your own. That concludes the explanation for the shoulder and neckline crochet method. Up to this point, the entire back piece crocheting has been fully explained. Next, we'll move on to the left chest piece. It's also divided into 3 areas: the body, the chest, and the shoulder and neckline. We'll crochet them in order from bottom to top. First, let's explain the body. Start with a foundation chain. Crochet back and forth upward. The crochet pattern is the same as the back piece. One side needs to be extended during the process. The extension method here is slightly different from the back piece. Please first refer to the chart. Crochet up to the row before the extension position. Next, I'll demonstrate the extension method. I'll use this small sample for the demonstration. Each size starts the extension on row 7, so after completing row 6, break the yarn. Then start again with the foundation chain. Crochet 4 chains. Next, turn the wrong side of row 6 toward you. Pick up 1 stitch from the edge and work 1 double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook into the corresponding stitch. Yarn over and pull through. Here, you can press the loop with your middle finger to prevent the loop from twisting. Continue crocheting double crochets. After completing, crochet 1 chain. Then continue following the chart to finish this row. The stitch techniques for the edge vary slightly between sizes. Here I'll demonstrate using the small size as an example. After completing 1 stitch on the edge, row 7 is done. Continue to row 8. First, follow the chart and crochet up to the extended chains. When you reach the corresponding position, insert the hook from the front side of the chain below and crochet. First, skip the first chain position. Pick up the strand above the next chain's braid. Work a half double crochet. Continue by working 2 half double crochets correspondingly into the adjacent stitches. This completes row 8. For the remaining rows on the body, continue crocheting by referring to the chart. After completing, crochet the chest area. On one side here, you'll need to skip stitches and decrease stitches. Crochet one side without increasing or decreasing. This area involves skipping stitches and decreasing stitches. The crochet method is the same as the skip and decrease section on the right side of the back piece. No new stitch techniques or methods are introduced. Everyone can directly follow the chart for crocheting. Next, continue to crochet the shoulder neck area. On the side closer to the neckline, you'll need to skip stitches and decrease. This is the opposite side compared to the chest decreases. After completing the required decreases, continue crocheting without increasing or decreasing. For the last few rows, Some sizes require skipping stitches. There are no new stitch techniques or methods introduced here either. Everyone can directly follow the chart for crocheting. After finishing, you'll need to cut the yarn and weave in the ends. With that, the crocheting for the left chest piece is complete. Next, we'll explain the right chest piece. It's also divided into the body, chest, and shoulder neck areas. However, the stitch pattern used here is different from before. Start by crocheting the body. Begin with a foundation chain, then work back and forth along the foundation chain. 4 new stitch techniques are used here. DC 3 in 1, DC 2 in 1, DC 3 tog, DC 5 in 1. Please watch my demonstration. First, start with a foundation chain. Crochet the corresponding number of chains. Here I've already completed the foundation chain. After finishing, work the first row. First, chain 3 as the turning chain. Then pick up the 5th chain from the right going to the left. Work 1 double crochet into the corresponding chain's V-shaped loop. Continue with 1 double crochet into the adjacent stitch. Then work a 4 chain space. Skip the next 4 stitches underneath. Pick up 1 position and work 1 double crochet. Four chain space. Skip the next 4 stitches adjacent. Pick up and work 3 double crochets correspondingly, one by one. Continue crocheting by referring to the chart afterwards. Work the last 2 double crochets. At this point, the first row is completed. Work down to the second row. Here, the stitch techniques used for different sizes are all the same. Only the order of the stitches varies slightly. Here I'll use the small size as an example. Let me demonstrate the crocheting method. Other sizes can be learned first. Then refer to the chart to crochet afterwards. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Turn the work. Here, the turning chain corresponds to the double crochet on the edge. Pick up the stitch of the double crochet on the left side. Work a DC 3 in 1, meaning work 3 double crochets in one position. Complete the DC 3 in 1. Then crochet a 3 chain space. Pick the position of the 3 double crochets on the left side. Work a DC 3 tog. Pick these 3 stitches separately. Correspondingly make 3 unclosed double crochets. 1, 2, 3. There are now 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the DC 3 tog. Then crochet a 3 chain space. Then pick the position of 1 double crochet on the left. Make DC 5 in 1. That means crochet 5 double crochets in the same position. 1 stitch. 2 stitches. 3 stitches. 4 stitches. 5 stitches. Complete making DC 5 in 1. Then crochet a 3 chain space. Pick 3 double crochet positions downward. Correspondingly make a DC 3 tog. First, make 3 unclosed double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the DC 3 tog. Then crochet a 3 chain space. Then pick 1 double crochet position. Make DC 5 in 1. Continue alternating between making DC 3 tog and making DC 5 in 1. Leave a space of 3 chains between the 2 stitch techniques. You can also refer to the chart for details. Continue crocheting downward. Finish this DC 5 in 1. Continue with 3 chains. When reaching the last 2 double crochets and the turning chain position, here you need to make a DC 2 tog. Then pick up the top of the turning chain. Crochet 1 double crochet into this chain on the left side. Row 2 is now completed. Continue to crochet row 3. Start with 3 chains. Turn the work. The turning chain corresponds to 1 stitch on the edge. Pick up the decrease stitch to the left. Make 1 double crochet. 2 chains. When reaching the position of the DC 5 in 1, here pick up the first stitch. Work a DC 2 in 1, that means make 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Then crochet 3 double crochets correspondingly, one by one. Make a DC 2 in 1 in the adjacent stitch. Then make a 2 chain space. When reaching the position of DC 3 tog, make 1 double crochet correspondingly. 2 chains space. Moving forward, above the area of DC 5 in 1, make DC 2 in 1 at both the beginning and ending. Crochet 3 double crochets evenly in the center. When reaching the area of DC 3 in 1, make 1 double crochet correspondingly. 2 chains space on both left and right sides. Continue crocheting following this method. The last stitch is worked into the top of the turning chain from the previous row. Row 3 is now completed. For the remaining rows below, continue crocheting by referring to the chart. After completing, don't cut the yarn. Continue crocheting the chest piece. The explanation for the body section is now complete. Next, we'll explain the chest piece section. You'll need to skip stitches and decrease on one side. On the other side, crochet evenly without increasing or decreasing. No new stitches or techniques are introduced. Simply follow the chart to crochet. After completing that, crochet the shoulder neck section. Similarly, decrease on the side closest to the neckline, and crochet evenly on the other side. The decreasing section is exactly opposite to the chest piece's decreasing area. For small and medium sizes, no new stitches or techniques are used. For the large size, one new stitch technique is applied. HDC 3 tog. Now, I'll demonstrate how to work this new stitch technique. Everyone can learn it first here, then follow the chart to crochet later. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small sample. I'll mainly demonstrate the stitch technique. The position doesn't matter. You can refer to the chart for the exact placement. Pick up the corresponding position and work 2 unclosed half double crochets. Yarn over the hook, insert into the corresponding position. Wrap yarn around hook and draw through. At this point, there are 3 loops on your hook. This is an unclosed half double crochet. Continue to the left, work 2 unclosed half double crochets correspondingly one by one. 1, 2. There are now 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the HDC 3 tog. That's the end of the explanation for the shoulder part area. So that's all for the right front piece part. Next, we'll explain the sleeves. There are 2 sleeves in total. The method is the same. Each sleeve is divided into the sleeve body, the sleeve cap and the cuff edge areas. Start by crocheting the sleeve body and sleeve cap. After completing it, pick up stitches on the other side and crochet the cuff edge. Let's start explaining the sleeve body. The pattern here is the same as the back piece. Only the stitches at the beginning and end will be slightly different. They both start with a foundation chain, then work back and forth. Everyone can directly follow the chart to crochet. After completing it, crochet the sleeve cap. Decrease stitches are needed on both sides here. Some sizes require skipping stitches at the beginning. For the smaller size here, you need to work a slip stitch to carry the yarn along on one side. The new stitch techniques used across all sizes include treble crochet, HDC 2 tog. Next, I'll demonstrate each of them one by one. The method for working a slip stitch to carry the yarn along in the small size. The techniques for treble crochet and HDC 2 tog. Everyone can learn them first. Then follow the chart to crochet. First, I'll demonstrate the slip stitch to carry the yarn along. Here I'll use this small sample for demonstration. Work 1 chain. Turn the work. Skip 1 stitch on the edge going down. Pick up the stitch on the left side. Work 1 slip stitch. Then continue crocheting the corresponding stitches following the chart. This way the yarn is carried over. This is the slip stitch to carry the yarn along. Next, I'll demonstrate the technique for treble crochet. Here I'll use this small sample for demonstration. Position is arbitrary. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert the hook into the corresponding position. Yarn over and draw through. At this point, there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. Once. Twice. 3 times. Complete the treble crochet. Now demonstrating the HDC 2 tog. Same here, the position on the sample is arbitrary. Pick the corresponding position and work 2 unclosed half double crochets. Yarn over the hook. Insert, yarn over and draw through. This is an unclosed half double crochet. Now make another unclosed half double crochet. At this point, there are 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the HDC 2 tog. At this point, the new stitch techniques and methods for the sleeve cap area are all demonstrated. That concludes the explanation for the sleeve cap area. Next, we'll explain the sleeve edge. Crochet around the foundation chain side. One new stitch technique will be used. CH3SL Picket. Please watch my demonstration. I'll use this small sample for the demonstration. The stitch techniques used here are the same for all sizes. Only the insertion order and stitch sequence are slightly different. I'll demonstrate using the small size as an example. Other sizes can be learned first. Place the piece with the foundation chain side facing up. The right side of the piece is facing you. Then locate the right edge. Here the edge consists of 2 single crochets. Insert the hook into the gap between these 2 stitches to join the yarn. Then chain 1. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. When you encounter the starting yarn tail, work it in, and weave it as you go. Then pick up the chain space below the left chain. Work 3 single crochets into 1 chain space. Then locate the insertion position of the left group. Pick up the remaining half of the chain. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet. Pick into the chain space of the adjacent chain and work 3 single crochets. When you reach the position with 2 single crochets, pick into the chain space in the middle of them. Correspondingly make 2 single crochets. Later, when you encounter a 2 chain space, work 3 single crochets into 1 chain space. At the insertion position for 2 double crochets, correspondingly make 1 single crochet. Here, work 3 single crochets into the 2 chain space. When you reach the position with 1 chain between 2 single crochets, pick into the chain space and work 2 single crochets. Continue crocheting following this pattern. You can also refer to the chart for details. When you reach the starting position with 2 single crochets, similarly, pick into the space between and work 1 single crochet. Then locate the position of the first stitch. Bring the wrong sides of the piece together, with the right sides facing outward. Here, pick into the first single crochet stitch, and join with a slip stitch. The small vertical braid on the left is the beginning chain. Skip, insert into the stitch. Insert the hook and work a slip stitch. After completing, tighten the slip stitch that connects the beginning and end of the round, to avoid having extra stitches later. At this point, the first round is completed. The next round requires a color change. Proceed to fasten off the yarn. Work down to crochet the second round. Pick up the corresponding yarn to attach. Insert the hook into the first single crochet of the previous round, the spot where the slip stitch was worked earlier. Insert the hook and attach the yarn. Make 1 chain to begin. Work 1 single crochet into the same position. Then pick up stitches to the left and work 2 single crochets correspondingly. Next, crochet a CH3SL picket. From now on, I'll simply call it a picket. First, chain 3. Then pick up the front strand of the single crochet below and the strand on the left side. Work 1 slip stitch. The picket is completed. Continue picking up stitches and work 3 single crochets one by one. Then work a picket. From now on, follow the pattern of 3 single crochets and 1 picket continuously. After finishing the last stitch, pick up the first single crochet below and work a slip stitch to connect. Don't pull it too tight here. Proceed to fasten off. First, enlarge the loop. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Then count 2 stitches to the left. Insert the hook from the back of the corresponding stitch. Pull the reserved yarn through. Then insert into the center of the V-shaped loop of the slip stitch from behind. Pull the yarn through. Adjust slightly. Finally, secure the yarn on the wrong side. Pick any strand and work 1 chain to secure. Weave the remaining yarn tail into the piece. Everyone please complete it by yourselves. This completes the second round. And that concludes the technique for the sleeve edge. Please make another sleeve using the same method. At this point, the sleeve section is complete.